welcome to day 17 of our Road to Easter devotions. My name is David, and our title today is I Don't Know Him. Our reading is taken from Luke chapter 22, verses 54 to 62. Then, seizing him, they led him away and took him into the house of the high priest. Peter followed at a distance. And when some of them had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and had sat down together, Peter sat down with them. The servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him and said, "This man was with him." But he denied it. "Woman, I don't know him," he said. A little later, someone else saw him and said, "You are also one of them." "Man, I am not," Peter replied. About an hour later, another asserted, "Certainly this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean." Peter replied, "Man, I don't know what you are talking about." Just as he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Then Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him. "Before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. This whole passage represents a very dark time for Jesus and his followers. And while the worst is happening to Jesus, he does at least know the final outcome, even though the path is horrific. For Peter, the darkness is total. He, the man who with great bravado only a few hours before had said he would follow Jesus anywhere, even to death, is now so frightened he is dropping all of his principles, love, faithfulness, just for self-preservation. Then, realizing what he's done and his own inadequacy, he runs out and weeps. How could his Lord, Rabbi, and most importantly friend, ever have anything to do with him again? The darkness is just total to Peter. Of course, with hindsight, we know that the risen Jesus still accepted Peter, that Jesus recommissioned him and empowered him. But for Peter now, the darkness is total. We Christians know this. But what can this passage teach us today? Last year, I was very ill, and I was taken into hospital with an infection. While I was there, it was discovered that I had other problems which needed fixing. Normally, this would not have been a problem, but the NHS was dealing with the first COVID spike, so they gave me a bodge which was inconvenient, painful, and left me open to repeated infections. The darkness I felt was total. It was almost without hope. There seemed to be no end to this. I tried to get private medical treatment, but everywhere I went had let all of their facilities to the NHS and wouldn't take me on. So some would say, you could still pray. And I did pray a lot. 2 repeating prayers still stand out. The one, "Lord, help deliver me," and "Please, can I just not wake up tomorrow?" After some months, the situation eased and I was able to get treatment. So there was an end to this thick darkness, and with hindsight, it was coming all along. But it wasn't clear to me while it was happening. In these days of the pandemic, most of us are experiencing some sort of darkness, and any view of the end can be very vague. But it is in God's hands, and the end will come. A prayer you might want to join me with. Oh Lord, please bring us through this present darkness into the brilliant light the brilliant resurrection light of Easter. Amen. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will join us again tomorrow.